got home that day, I took off my shoes and I realized I don't know if I'm ever going to put these shoes back on again, because I don't, you know, and I took off my belt and I took my wallet out and I emptied it and I moved things over to a new wallet that I had that, you know, looked better in a purse.
How did that moment feel?
It was really cool. It was really cool. It was very liberating to be able to give myself the opportunity to be who I needed to be in the moment, you know? For 37 years, I've played by the rules and I've done everything I was supposed to do, and it didn't make me happy. It didn't make me a happy person. I still felt trapped inside. I was married, I lived in the suburbs, I had 3 children, I had a corporate job. I couldn't deal with it anymore. I couldn't deal with the fact that when I was young, I knew that I wanted to be a girl when I was 7. I knew when I was 7 that I wished that I'd been born with a female body. You have to be who you are. You don't have a choice about that. You are going to be who you are. And you can try to hide part of it if you want to. You know, you can try to conform. But you know, if you don't actually go find out who you are, you're gonna have a pretty miserable run of it. I felt really, really, really abandoned and alone. You know, suddenly I was about to undergo, you know, the most difficult part of my life to date, and my family had just been ripped out from underneath me. I started seeing them on Skype on Friday nights. You know, I still do that. I see them on Skype and we play games together over the internet and stuff. But sometimes we cry, you know. And I had to go over to her apartment, pack all the stuff up, you know. A whole room full of my kids' toys. Same toys that they'd had since they were babies.
That must have been hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a couple friends that helped me out with that part because I couldn't do it.
But you went through with the transition.
Yeah.
Why? What was that burning desire?
Part of it was I needed to teach my children that you can't let other people decide for you who you're going to be. It's going to come at a cost. You got to be ready to accept that cost. But I mean, what's more valuable in your life than being who you are?
First time you looked in the mirror dressed as a woman.
I hated it. I hate looking in the mirror dressed as a woman because I'm not built like a woman. And this is one of the things that's very difficult about being a trans person is, at least being a trans person who transitions later in life, my body's already developed. I have a male face. I can do things to make that look different, you know, but I can't, you know, without going to surgery, I can't change it. And even if I do go to surgery, there's limited in the amount that I can do. You know, I'm never going to look like a person who was born with a female body. It's just not going to happen. And so looking in the mirror, I felt disappointment. You know, it's disappointing to look and say, okay, you've gotten this far, you know, and that's as far as you're going to get. Now, for other people, it's very different. They have a very different experience. Other people look in the mirror and they see a beautiful woman looking back at them, and they're very happy about that. And there were times when I felt truly beautiful. There were times when I felt just stunning. And so on the inside, I feel very strong about myself. I'm very confident about myself. I just don't like what's on the outside. It's not female. It's sort of male. It's mostly male now. It's not entirely male anymore. And it's not comfortable. I don't look like the person I'd like to look like. What happened in 2008 was I gave myself permission to be whoever I needed to be. And for 2 years, you know, who I needed to be was Kelly, was a woman. Now I don't need to be a woman right now. Right now what I need to do is again to use my body in any way that I can to make sure that I'm healthy on the inside. And right now that means growing out facial hair and wearing men's clothes and covering up my breasts as best I can, and presenting as a male. When I present this way, when I present male and I walk and I look at apples in the grocery store, nobody looks at me like, oh my God, why are they touching the apples? I loved my wife a lot, and I loved being married, and I loved being part of a family. I loved that, and I want that again in my life at some point. And I don't feel like if I'm presenting female that's in my future at any point in time.
If society were more embracing, would you still be presenting as a woman?
If society was more embracing, I would prefer to present female. I would prefer to present female, but just the stress of living as a trans person, and the loneliness and the quizzical looks and the discrimination and the being treated specially is too much for me. It's too much for me right now. We all have individual limits of how much we can handle and can't handle. I'd reached my limit.
Would you say you've gone back to being a man or forward to a new incarnation of you?
It's forward. It's definitely forward. If I were to transition back, I would have to go back to this time where I'm repressing who I am. And I'm not. I have no desire at all to repress who I am again.
What's your name?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm Kelly, but I'm also John. Okay.
That's awesome.
Do you like that?
Yep.